300 million years ago, in waters warmer than today's ocean, you aren't even born yet, but you already have enemies, your own siblings. In your world, family dinner starts before birth, and you're on the menu. Right now, you're pressed against a fold in your mother's body, watching your bigger brother tear into another sibling. He's already eaten two others, and from the look in his eyes, he's still hungry. Your heart stops as he turns toward your hiding spot. He charges at you, and you know you're about to become his next snack. But just as his jaws are about to close around you, whoosh, your mother pushes you out into the open ocean. For a split second, you feel relief, until you hear another whoosh behind you. Oh no, your murderous brother just got birthed too. You spin around, expecting him to charge at you, but something's different. He looks just as scared as you are. Both of you stare in awe at your mother, her entire body covered in thick armor plates like a swimming tank. Meanwhile, you're about as threatening as a blob of jelly, your soft body completely defenseless. Before either of you can process your vulnerability, your mother disappears into the dark water. No goodbye, no defense tips, not even a try not to get eaten. Great. You're alone in the open ocean with your cannibalistic brother. A shadow passes overhead, and both of you dart for the same hiding spot. Turns out nothing brings siblings together quite like the threat of being eaten by something bigger. The dark shadow passes, but neither of you move. After what feels like forever, you peek out from your hiding spot. Your brother does the same, and for a moment you just stare at each other. Funny how quickly someone goes from "I'm going to eat you" to "please don't leave me alone" when they're scared. But there's no time for a family reunion. Your stomach is already reminding you that you haven't eaten since, well, ever. You drift away from your brother, both of you too hungry to care about each other anymore. That's when you spot it, a small turtle floating lazily near the surface. Perfect first target. You charge forward, mouth open for the kill, but the turtle's been playing this game longer than you. One flip of its fins and it dives down faster than you can follow. What happens next is just embarrassing. Your mouth opens so fast it creates some kind of underwater vacuum cleaner effect. Instead of turtle soup, you get a mouthful of sand and what might be a dead jellyfish. Pfft, you spit everything out, coughing up grit and trying not to die of shame. But wait, that suction thing. Maybe it's not a design flaw after all. Your specialized jaw joints are creating one of nature's first vacuum cleaners, turning your armored head into a prehistoric Hoover. You spot a smaller fish nearby. This time you try something different. Instead of charging in like a maniac, you drift closer slowly. When you're just close enough, you open your mouth and, slurp, the fish gets sucked right in like it's being pulled by an invisible string. First meal, success. Sure, it's not as impressive as the prey your parents hunt, but hey, you're learning. 3 days pass as you hide near the surface, catching whatever small prey you can find. That's when you notice something strange. Your skin feels different. Hard patches are developing, especially around your head, like you're growing your own helmet. But there's a catch. This natural helmet makes it impossible to turn your head and check your surroundings. You have to turn your whole body just to look behind you, and this is just the beginning. You've got 10 times more armor coming, covering your entire body. Days turn into weeks, and your body keeps changing. What started as small patches of hardness around your head is spread like a living suit of armor. First, thick plates cover your skull completely. Then your neck and shoulders start feeling heavier as armor spreads there too. It's like watching yourself transform into a living tank, piece by piece. A month passes, and now you're covered in overlapping plates from head to tail, each one harder than rock. Your head alone is encased in armor so thick it could stop a great whale's bite. The trade-off? You move like you're wearing a full suit of medieval armor underwater. Just checking if something's behind you means turning your entire body around. Your neck is basically locked in place by all this protection. But it's not just armor you're growing. You can feel the power building in your jaw muscles as your armor thickens. You might only be a few months old, but you're already a swimming weapon. All this new protection has made you bold. Maybe too bold. You find yourself drifting into deeper waters, territories you wouldn't have dared enter before. That's when you spot it. An ancient shark, about twice your size, tearing into something. The smell of blood fills the water, and your stomach growls. Maybe you can steal a bite while it's distracted. You drift closer, confidence growing with each paddle of your armored fins. The shark's so focused on its meal it hasn't noticed you yet. Just a little closer. Crack. Your jaw snaps shut on the closest piece of meat, and that's when you learn something amazing. Your bite snaps shut in less than a 50th of a second, creating a pressure wave that stuns nearby prey. Before the shark can even turn, you've already sliced clean through its prey. But now you've got its attention. It spins towards you, clearly not happy about sharing. It charges, teeth aiming for your neck, but instead of flesh it gets a mouthful of armor. You feel the impact, but your plates hold. The shark pulls back, probably wondering what kind of freak of nature it just tried to eat. Now it's your turn. You might be slow to turn, but your jaws are anything but. You open your mouth and snap. The water actually shockwaves around your bite like a tiny underwater explosion. The shark barely dodges, losing a chunk of its fin in the process. It takes one look at its missing fin, then at your scissor-like jaws, and decides this meal isn't worth the trouble. As you watch it swim away, you realize something. You're not just protected by this armor, you're powered by it. The same plates that make it hard to move give your bite enough force to slice through pretty much everything. After sending that shark packing, you learn something important. Your armor might be great for fighting off big predators, but eating is a whole different game. Your massive armored body isn't exactly built for chasing down lunch. Every time you spot some tasty-looking fish, they've disappeared before you can even turn your tank-like body around. But then you remember that weird suction thing you can do. The next time you spot a school of fish, instead of attempting a clumsy chase, you just open your mouth. Whoosh! The water rushes in like a vacuum, pulling in not just one fish, but half the school, along with a nice helping of sand and seaweed. Not your most elegant meal, but hey, when you're hungry, who cares about table manners? Months pass, and you're getting better. Now, at nearly full size, you're bigger than a great white shark, stretching over 20 feet long. Your armored head alone is the size of a car, and your bite force? If ships existed back then, you could have chomped through their metal hull like it was made of cardboard. In these ancient seas, there aren't many creatures that can match your size. Those long-necked plesiosaurs, they see you coming and swim the other way. Most other armored fish are half your size. They're more like snacks than competition. The only things that make you slightly nervous are the massive eurypterids, sea scorpions the size of crocodiles. But even they think twice before messing with your scissor jaws. Swimming through your territory one day, you notice something different. The water feels warmer, and there are more of your kind around than usual. That's when you spot her. Nearly twice your size and covered in armor so thick it makes yours look like a cheap costume. Turns out female Dunkleosteus are bigger than males, because of course they are. You're not the only one who's noticed her. Other males are showing up, all of us probably thinking the same thing. What follows is possibly the least graceful courtship in ocean history. Imagine several living tanks trying to impress a bigger tank. You try showing off your jaw strength, snapping at the water to create those signature shockwaves. She seems about as impressed as you'd expect. The mating itself is quick and awkward. Try getting romantic when you're both covered in armor plates and can barely turn your heads. But hey, at least you don't eat your mate like some other fish do. Once it's done, she swims off without so much as a goodbye. Turns out even prehistoric fish weren't big on commitment. Your life of chomping through anything that moves starts catching up with you. The hunting grounds that used to be full of prey are getting emptier by the day. Turns out being an unstoppable killing machine has a downside. Eventually, you run out of things to kill. You start seeing new types of fish in these waters. Smaller, faster, more adaptable. They don't have fancy armor or buzzsaw jaws, but they can survive on the tiny prey you can't even catch. Your specialized weapons, the armor, the bone-crushing bite, the suction feeding, they're all useless against schools of fish too small to bother with. Your massive size and armor that once made you invincible are now just dead weight. You find yourself swimming further and further for fewer and fewer meals. Other Dunkleosteus are disappearing too. Some starve to death, their armored bodies sinking to the ocean floor. Others try hunting in waters too shallow and get stranded like beached whales in metal suits. One day, exhausted from hunger, you spot something big enough to eat. But as you approach, you realize it's another Dunkleosteus, even more desperate than you. For a moment, you both just float there, two living tanks facing the same grim reality. We've eaten ourselves into extinction. Nature's final joke. The ultimate predator wasn't killed by something bigger or stronger. We just got too good at being bad.
You crack out of your egg and immediately realize something's eating you. A parasitic isopod the size of a pinhead is chewing through your tail while you're still half stuck in the egg membrane. You thrash free, ripping away from both the egg and the parasite, leaving a chunk of your tail behind. Around you, 99,000 brothers and sisters are hatching. Most of them have the same problem. Some have two parasites. Some are already dead, their tiny bodies hollowed out from the inside. A moray eel larva barely bigger than you shoots through the cloud of hatchlings. Its mouth opens and closes like a tiny guillotine. 6 of your siblings disappear in 2 seconds. It turns toward you. You do the only thing your instincts tell you to do. You go completely limp, spread your fins wide, and let your body go slack. You're not a fish anymore. You're a piece of drifting jellyfish, poisonous and worthless. The eel larvae's eyes pass right over you. That trick just saved your life. You'll need to use it 400 more times before you reach adulthood. Most of your siblings won't make it past day 3, but the thing that finally kills you? It'll happen while you're actually winning. Just wait for it. You're 5 days old and you've figured out hunting. Sort of. You've learned that if you hide inside clouds of drifting algae, tiny copepods will swim right past your face. You've caught 3 today. You're basically a genius. Then you smell it. Blood in the water. Every larval fish instinct in your body screams at you to investigate. You follow the scent trail through the water until you find the source. It's a dying flying fish, twice your size, struggling near the surface. Its wing fin is shredded. It's bleeding out. It's perfect. You're not the only one. 50 other larvae are already swarming at baby triggerfish, damselfish, wrasses, all tearing off tiny pieces. There's enough food here to last you a week. You dart in and rip off a piece of flesh. It's the biggest meal of your life. Then the water goes dark. A skipjack tuna, 3 feet long, explodes through the feeding frenzy like a missile. Its mouth opens wide enough to swallow 20 of you at once. You snap into jellyfish mode, fins wide, body limp. You tumble through the chaos. The tuna's mouth passes just beside you. When the water finally clears, 30 larvae are gone. The flying fish is gone. You're alive, but you just learned something terrible. The best meals are always traps. Skip forward 6 weeks. You have grown and survived the larval stage through a combination of that jellyfish trick and pure luck. You've eaten enough to trigger the next phase of your life. That's when your body starts betraying you. It starts with your eyes. They itch, then they burn, then they start sinking into your skull like they're melting. You try to see, but everything's getting darker. Not because the sun is setting, your eyes are literally dying while you're still using them. You are going to witness how brutal nature can be for you. Your fins start next. The bones inside them begin stretching, growing. It feels like someone's pulling your skeleton apart from the inside. You try to swim normally, but your fins are too long now. They drag behind you like broken wings. The pressure in your head is unbearable. You're diving deeper and deeper, but you can't stop. Something in your brain is forcing you down. At 500 meters, your eyes finish dying. At 1,000 meters, you're completely blind. At 2,000 meters, your swim bladder starts compressing. You're transforming into something that makes no biological sense. Your fins are now 3 times longer than your body. Your eyes are sealed over bumps. You look like evolution had a mental breakdown. At 4,000 meters, you hit the bottom. The pressure here is insane. You can feel it pressing on every part of your body. The water is 33 degrees, 1 degree above freezing. Welcome to hell. You'll live here for the next 3 years. But what's coming next will shock you. You keep trying to swim, forgetting that your fins don't work for swimming anymore. They work for standing. You finally figure out the system. You're a tripod now. Your body hovers 1 foot off the mud, perfectly still, facing the current. Then you wait, and wait, and wait. After 4 hours, something tiny drifts past. You can't see it, your eyes are dead, but you feel it through the special nerves in your fins. You angle your fins like satellite dishes, tracking its movement. When it gets close enough, you create a tiny current with your fins, steering it toward your mouth. You snap. You swallow. 1 microscopic amphipod. 90 calories. You just burned 80 calories catching it. What a joke. You need to catch one of these every 2 hours just to avoid starving. Down here, there's 99% less food than the surface. Except when something does happen, it tries to kill you. Skip forward 3 months. You've survived by standing in the exact same spot for weeks at a time. You've perfected the art of doing nothing. Then something lands on your back. It's tiny, the size of a grain of sand, but you feel it immediately. A cymathoid isopod. The same kind that tried to eat you as an egg. Except this one's smarter. It doesn't kill you. It just stays. It digs its hooks into your skin and starts drinking your blood. Not enough to kill you. Just enough to keep you weak. And this guy is going to be an all-night nightmare for your life. You try to scrape it off against the rocks. The rocks are too smooth. You try to swim upside down to shake it loose. You nearly break your fins doing it. You try to reach it with your mouth. Your mouth can't reach your own back. The parasite settles in. It grows. After a month, it's the size of your eye. After 6 months, you can feel its weight shifting on your back when you move. It's not just drinking your blood anymore, it's laying eggs. Baby isopods hatch on your back and crawl across your body, deciding if you're worth staying on. 3 of them decide you are. You've got 4 parasites now. They drink 10% of every meal you catch. You need to catch more food to feed them, but they're making you weaker, so you catch less food. But you don't die. Not yet. You just get slower, weaker, hungrier. Skip forward 8 months. You're standing at your spot, 4 parasites on your back, barely alive, when you smell something impossible. Another tripod fish. Close. You release your fins, which takes 8 seconds now because you're so weak, and start walking toward the smell. Your 3 long fins move like crutches, dragging your body across the mud at 5 feet per hour. It takes you 4 hours to travel 20 feet. You find them. Another tripod fish, standing on their 3 fins, facing the current. They're covered in parasites too. 6 of them. They're in worse shape than you. You stand next to them. For the first time in 8 months, you're not alone. Then you both release your gametes into the water. But here's the twisted part. Your species doesn't do normal reproduction. You were born male. But the stress, the starvation, the parasites, they've been slowly changing your body chemistry. You're becoming female. Except the change isn't complete. You release both sperm and eggs into the water, a confused mess of half-transformed biology. Most of the eggs won't fertilize. Most of the ones that do will hatch into deformed larvae that die within hours. Your partner releases their gametes. Then they walk away. No bonding, no partnership, just a biological transaction in the dark. You stand there, alone again, and realize you just wasted 3 weeks of energy on reproduction that probably won't work. Skip forward 6 months. You haven't eaten in 11 days. Your parasites have eaten most of your muscle mass. You can barely keep your fins stiff enough to stand. Then something massive falls from the darkness above. It crashes into the mud 40 feet away. The impact shakes the ground. The smell hits you like a dead whale. 50 tons of meat, the biggest food source you'll ever encounter in your entire life. You release your fins and start walking. It takes you 9 hours to travel 40 feet. Your fins keep collapsing. You have to stop every 10 minutes to rest, but you keep going because that whale represents 6 months of food. When you finally arrive, the apocalypse has already started. 30 rat-tail fish are tearing off chunks the size of your head. Hagfish are burrowing inside, eating from within. Sleeper sharks are circling, taking bites that remove 10 pounds at a time. The water is thick with blood and oil and flesh. You try to get close. A rat-tail fish rams you away. You try again. A hagfish coils around your fin and tries to pull you into the carcass to eat you alongside the whale. You barely escape. You stand there, 5 feet from more food than exists in a cubic mile of ocean, and watch as every other creature feeds. Your 3-fin design, the thing that keeps you alive by letting you stand and ambush prey, now makes you the weakest animal at the feast. After 3 days, the whale is picked clean. You got 0 bites. You walk back to your original spot having burned more energy than you gained. You're going to die soon. You can feel it. Skip forward 2 months. You're standing at your spot. You haven't eaten in 16 days. Your fins are shaking. The parasites on your back have stopped moving. They're dying too, which means you're not even producing enough blood to keep them alive. Then you smell it again. That same tripod fish from before. The one you tried to reproduce with. They walk up next to you. They're in worse shape than you. 3 of their parasites have died and are rotting on their back. But they're here. You stand together. Not hunting, not reproducing, just standing. 2 creatures at the end of their lives, too weak to do anything but exist next to each other. For 5 days, you stand together. You catch 1 meal each. You share the space. You're not alone. On day 6, you smell blood. Their blood. A 6-gill shark, 14 feet long, rises from below. It doesn't attack you. You're too small, too worthless. It attacks your partner. Its teeth close around them in one clean bite. No struggle, no escape, just gone. The shark drops their body. It sinks to the mud next to you, torn in half. You can smell your partner's chemistry fading from the water. The shark circles back, checking if you're worth eating. You try to collapse your fins to run, but they won't move. The fluid system is frozen. You're locked in tripod stance, completely helpless. The shark's eye passes 6 inches from your face. It studies you, decides you're not worth the effort, swims away. You're standing next to your partner's corpse, unable to move, unable to run, unable to do anything but stand there and smell them decompose. 3 hours later, your fin system finally releases. You walk away. It takes you 6 hours to move 10 feet. You settle into a new spot. Pump your fins stiff. Face the current. Alone. 1 week later, your heart stops. Not from an attack. Not from starvation. Your body just gives up. Your fins collapse. You sink to the mud. The parasites on your back crawl off your corpse looking for a new host. Within 2 days, amphipods have eaten your eyes. Within a week, nothing remains but your 3 long fin bones, lying in the mud like fallen radio towers. You survived 99,000 to 1 odds at birth. You figured out the jellyfish trick that saved your life 400 times. You dove 4,000 meters while your body transformed into nightmare architecture. You learned to hunt without eyes in a place where nothing lives. You found a partner twice, lost them twice, and learned that loneliness actually has a taste in the water. You stood alone in darkness for 3 years, with parasites drinking your blood, waiting with patience that would break any human mind. And you died of nothing. No dramatic attack, no final boss, just biological collapse. Your body gave up in the dark, and nobody noticed. After all that survival, all that adaptation, all that impossible endurance killed by the simple math of not enough food, too many parasites, and a body design that evolved you into a living trap. But believe it or not, there's an animal with an even worse life than this. Watch that story next.
Your mom pushes you out into the dark ancient ocean, already equipped with the weirdest mouth in history. a spiral of razor-sharp teeth that curls inward like nature's own buzzsaw. Your mother swims nearby, looking at her feeding on a giant squid, ripping it apart with her spiral saw of death. You realize you've got some serious growing to do. 2 more of your siblings slide out after you. Then comes what's left of your other brother, just ahead. Last night inside Mom, you had your first meal. Turns out when you're born with a buzzsaw for a mouth, your siblings make pretty good practice. Before you can even process what's happening, your mom vanishes into the dark waters. No goodbye, no parenting tips about how to use your built-in circular saw. She's just gone. The 3 of you float there, confused, when suddenly you hear a horrible crunching sound. You turn around just in time to see your brother finishing off your sister. Apparently, the family eating tradition continues. You don't stick around to be dessert. You take off as fast as your tiny fins can carry you. All that running makes your stomach growl now. Time for your first solo hunt. But how exactly do you eat with this spiral thing in your mouth? You spot a small fish swimming nearby. Perfect first target. You dart forward, mouth open, but the fish is gone before your teeth even get close. After a few more embarrassing attempts, and watching other predators hunt, you figure out the trick. Create a quick suction with your mouth. You try again, this time pulling water in sharply as you approach another fish. Success. Well, kinda. The fish is stuck awkwardly in your spiral, and you're pretty sure this isn't how it's supposed to work. After a few days of embarrassing attempts and a lot of hungry nights, you start getting the hang of it. Quick suction pulls the prey toward your mouth, and then your spiral teeth do what they're best at, slicing through flesh like a circular saw. It's messy, but effective. Dinner is served. But just as you're mastering your first hunting technique, a massive shadow passes overhead. Some ancient shark whose regular teeth might be boring, but are definitely bigger than your entire body. A hungry ancient shark is the last thing you need right now. You dart between rocks, your small size finally coming in handy. The massive predator can't follow you through the narrow gaps, and you watch its frustrated shadow pass overhead. Looks like being small isn't always a bad thing.
Many months later.
Speaking of growing, your spiral of teeth keeps getting bigger, adding new rows that curl inward like a deadly Swiss roll. Each time you eat, the old teeth move further into the spiral, making room for new ones at the front. Other baby sharks just replace their teeth. You're collecting yours like some kind of weird tooth hoarder. You discover the other young helicoprions in the deep waters. Turns out you're not the only one figuring out how this bizarre mouth works. A few months pass, and you've grown from bite-sized to big-time threat. You're now about as long as a school bus, with a spiral of teeth bigger than a car tire. Time to hunt something bigger. Those tiny fish you've been chasing? That's baby stuff. Swimming through the dark waters, you spot your real target, a giant squid. It's huge, about the size of a small tree, but that's exactly what your buzzsaw mouth was made for. You swim up from below, remembering all your failed attempts from when you were smaller. The squid spots you and tries to escape, spraying ink in your face like underwater smoke. Not today, it seems to say, but you're not that helpless baby anymore. You're bigger, faster, and a whole lot hungrier. With a burst of speed, you catch up to the squid. Chomp! Your spiral teeth grip tight, and that's when the magic happens. One quick twist of your head, and your saw-like teeth slice clean through its body. The water clouds with blood as half the squid tries to jet away while the other half disappears down your throat. But life with a buzzsaw mouth isn't all victory hunts. You learn pretty quick that your weird mouth has some major downsides. You can't take small bites. You can't eat from the side. It's all or nothing. Either your prey fits in your spiral, or you go hungry. Those big sharks that used to chase you, now they keep their distance. You've gone from running away to making others run. Though sometimes you still get your teeth stuck in rocks while hunting, which is about as embarrassing as it sounds. Being a top predator is pretty lonely though. Every time you try to swim near regular sharks, they take one look at your face and swim away as fast as they can. Finding a mate? Let's just say having a mouthful of spinning teeth isn't exactly attractive. You try showing off your hunting skills, but most potential mates seem worried about how you'd even kiss without slicing them up. But hey, who needs friends when you can slice through giant squid like they're made of butter? You're doing just fine on your own. As weeks pass, you grow more confident in your hunting grounds. That is, until one morning when everything changes. You're hunting in deeper waters than usual when you spot it. A massive armored fish, ancient and tough, its plates gleaming like metal in the dim light. You've seen smaller ones before, but this one's different. Your hunger gets the best of you, and you charge in for the kill. How the hell are you in my territory? Big mistake. Your spiral teeth slam against its armor with a sickening crack. Instead of slicing through, your precious tooth whorl catches between the plates. Pain shoots through your jaw as you struggle to break free. The armored giant thrashes, dragging you along like a toy. In desperation, you twist your body sharply, finally breaking loose, but leaving several of your precious teeth embedded in its armor. You retreat to shallower waters, hurt and humiliated. For days, you stick to smaller prey while your jaw heals, learning a harsh lesson about picking your battles. A week later, nursing your wounded pride in warm current, you spot something that makes you forget all about your aching jaw. Another helicoprion, a female. Your instincts kick in immediately. She sees you too, and instead of fleeing, she circles closer. The next few minutes are like a deadly game of don't lose your head during the business, literally. When you've got a buzzsaw for a face, you gotta be real careful where you put it. But somehow, you both figure it out. Don't ask how, this isn't that kind of video. And it turns out having a circle of razor-sharp teeth isn't a total deal-breaker. I mean, at least she seems satisfied, unlike those OnlyFans girls. And surprisingly, she doesn't swim away immediately after. For the first time since you were born, you're not completely alone. That's when they show up. A pack of new predators enters your territory. Sleek, fast sharks with rows of regular teeth. They're different from anything you've seen before, moving together like they share one mind. The female helicoprion who's been hunting in your territory vanishes at the first sight of them. Smart move, but you can't just swim away. This is your hunting ground, and your belly is already growling with hunger. Besides, where would you even go? You size them up, 6 of them, spread out in a hunting formation. Before you can even decide to fight or flee, they make the choice for you. They move like lightning, 3 hitting you from different angles. Your spiral teeth catch one of them in the side, ripping through flesh, but that's when you learn why these hunters are different. They don't retreat when one gets hurt. Instead, 2 more slam into your gills while another tears at your fins. Your signature move, the deadly spiral bite, is useless against multiple attackers. Each time you focus on one, the others rip into you. The water clouds red with blood, mostly yours. As their teeth tear into you again and again, you do the only thing you can. You flee into deeper waters, leaving behind your hunting grounds and half your pride. Your massive tooth whirl might be deadly against single prey, but against a coordinated pack, it's about as useful as bringing a knife to a sword fight against 3. Limping into deeper waters, you find more of your kind, all of us pushed out by these faster, smaller predators. The ocean keeps getting colder, and all your prey is moving to warmer waters where your massive body can't follow. Those new sharks with their boring regular teeth, they're thriving on the small fish while you're slowly starving. That's when she appears, the female you mated with, now just as tired and hungry as you are. For a moment you feel relieved. At least you're not alone. Then she attacks, her spiral teeth tearing you into 2 pieces. That's when you realize how your species ends. We're eating each other in desperate attempts to survive. Subscribe if you don't want your date to end this way. You break through your translucent egg sac, joining hundreds of your siblings as you all hatch into the crushing darkness of the ocean. So deep that the pressure would flatten a submarine like a soda can. This endless black abyss is now your home. You're barely bigger than a grain of rice, a tiny transparent larva drifting helplessly in currents you can't control. Before you even understand what's happening, you see them, the hunters. Shadows moving through shadows. Flashes of light attached to monsters. A lanternfish swoops through your siblings, its mouth open wide like a passenger jet with teeth. Dozens disappear in seconds. Another flash, this time a siphonophore, basically the ocean's version of a floating death rope, dragging more of your family into oblivion. What the actual hell, you think to yourself, watching as your numbers dwindle from hundreds to dozens in minutes. There's no time for mourning, you need to move, but how? Unlike regular fish that swim horizontally like they have somewhere normal to be, your body is designed to swim vertically, head up, tail down. Your first attempts are pathetic. You wiggle awkwardly, fighting against both gravity and the crushing weight of the ocean. The current does most of the work, sweeping you along like a piece of depressed confetti. At least the darkness hides your embarrassing swimming skills from whatever's looking for its next snack. Speaking of snacks, all this running from death has made you hungry. Your tiny stomach growls, but what are you supposed to eat in this ocean full of creatures that want to eat you? That's when you notice it. Tiny particles floating all around you. A snow-like shower of dead stuff from above. It's called marine snow, basically the leftovers of whatever died thousands of feet above you, slowly raining down into the abyss. Not exactly 5-star dining, but at this point, you'll take what you can get. You open your tiny mouth and start filtering the particles, sucking in whatever is small enough to fit. 3 weeks into your confusing life, you've eaten enough marine snow to grow from rice grain size to about as long as a paperclip. You're swimming around, slurping up more deep-sea leftovers when a sudden current catches you off guard. Instead of fighting it, you go with it, swimming higher and faster than you've ever gone. Huge mistake. Your body starts freaking out in a way you didn't know was possible. See, your tiny body is built to handle the crushing weight of deep water, like living your whole life with a truck sitting on top of you. But as you swim higher, there's less water above you, which means less pressure pushing down. It's like being built for wearing a super tight compression suit your whole life, then suddenly having someone cut it off. The gases in your blood and tissues, which were squished down by all that pressure, suddenly start expanding like tiny balloons. Pain shoots through every inch of your body. Your organs feel like they're being stretched from the inside out. Your eyes bulge. Everything hurts. This is barotrauma. What happens when a deep-sea creature goes somewhere it shouldn't. Humans get something similar when they scuba dive and come up too fast. Your body is literally starting to come apart at the seams. Just when you think you're about to burst like a popped water balloon, a blessed current pushes you back down to deeper water. As you sink, the increasing pressure squeezes those expanding gases back to normal size, but it's not a pleasant feeling. Imagine someone slowly sitting on a balloon until it's squished flat. That balloon is your organs. You just learned a terrifying lesson. In the deep sea, even swimming upward can be a death sentence. You barely got your ass saved by that current. Gasping with relief, you immediately dive deeper, seeking the safety of higher pressure. As you descend back into the familiar darkness, something catches your eye. A strange blue light glowing about 10 feet away. In this pitch-black world where you've never seen anything but darkness, this glowing dot is mesmerizing. You've never seen actual light before, and like a moth to a flame, you drift closer to investigate. Big mistake. As you approach, you suddenly realize that the light is attached to something, a fishing lure made of glowing flesh, and it's connected to a massive gulper eel, a creature with a mouth that can expand to swallow prey many times its size. The blue light was just bait, and you fell for it. The eel's jaws suddenly expand like a deployed parachute, ready to swallow you whole. You flail backward in pure panic, your ribbon-like body finally responding to your commands when it matters most. The jaws snap shut just inches from your face. After barely escaping death, the next few months of your life are dedicated to one thing: growing. And boy, do you grow. Just not in any way that makes sense. While other fish bulk up, develop muscles, and generally become more capable, you just get longer, and longer, and somehow even longer. By your first birthday, you've stretched from paperclip size to over 3 feet of living ribbon. You're basically becoming the ocean's interpretation of a wet noodle. A really, really long wet noodle. Your proportions make absolutely no sense. This new noodle body of yours comes with some serious design flaws, as you discover one terrifying night. A viperfish, think swimming nightmare with teeth, spots you and charges. You try to flee, making a sharp turn to escape. Big mistake. Your ridiculously long body can't handle the maneuver and does what any self-respecting ribbon would do. It tangles. In seconds, you've managed to tie yourself into what looks like a sailor's knot, helplessly flailing in the darkness. The viperfish actually stops its attack, apparently confused by whatever the hell you're doing. It circles you once, probably wondering if this is some weird defense mechanism, then decides you're too pathetic to eat and swims away. Great, you were so bad at being prey that the predator felt sorry for you. It takes hours of twisting and turning in the darkness to untangle yourself, all while hoping nothing else comes along to investigate the world's most helpless sea creature. Since you can't exactly chase down food with your pool noodle physique, you've developed a sophisticated hunting technique called drift around with your mouth open and hope for the best. Unlike normal fish with actual teeth and hunting skills, you're stuck filter feeding, basically hovering vertically in the water, mouth agape, collecting whatever microscopic particles happen to float in. During one of these exciting feeding sessions, something a bit larger than plankton drifts into your mouth. Before you can spit it out, you feel a sharp pain as the thing, a parasitic isopod, the deep sea's version of a tick the size of a quarter, latches onto your stomach lining. It burrows in, making itself at home inside you, where it plans to live rent-free for the foreseeable future, sucking your nutrients while you do all the work of finding food. Congratulations, you're now a mobile apartment complex for a parasite, and this is very common in all of your kind. As you approach 10 feet in length, the full absurdity of your body becomes apparent. Swimming forward requires an embarrassing amount of undulation. Turning around is a full production that takes several minutes and about 50 times more energy than it should. But there's no time to cry about all this. The ocean floor suddenly trembles beneath you. A deep-sea earthquake sends shockwaves through the water. Before you can process what's happening, the current becomes a violent underwater tornado, picking you up like a paper streamer. Your noodle-like body is completely at the mercy of this underwater storm, spinning and whipping through the darkness. The worst part? You're not alone in this chaos. The earthquake has disturbed a nearby colony of deep-sea creatures. Disoriented squid, panicked fish, and even a few small sharks are all thrashing around in the same violent current. It's a nightmarish blender of bodies and teeth, with you as the longest, most vulnerable target. A small shark thrown by the current slams into your midsection, its rough skin tearing through your delicate tissues. You try to curl away, but another creature, you can't even tell what it is in the darkness, takes a desperate bite at your tail. The water around you fills with the scent of blood. Your blood. The feeding frenzy intensifies. In the chaos, everything is trying to eat everything else. Your spin-dodging teeth and claws like you're in some twisted underwater ballet. Your ridiculously long body, both your greatest weakness and your only advantage. Your flexibility lets you twist away from some attacks, but your length means something is always getting a piece of you. After what feels like forever, the current finally begins to settle. As you drift away from the chaos, you take inventory of the damage. A section of your dorsal fin is completely gone. There's a gash along your side that will definitely scar. And worst of all, your body now has a permanent kink about halfway down. You'll never swim completely straight again. After all the hassle, you try to rest down, calm yourself for some time. That's when you spot it in the distance. Another oarfish. An adult one, at least 20 feet long, its crimson dorsal fin faintly visible even in the darkness. After months of floating around solo, you're actually excited to see one of your own kind. Maybe it can teach you how to work this ridiculous body of yours? You eagerly swim toward its head to say hello, but something's off. As you get closer, your excitement turns to horror. Half of its head is gone. One eye socket empty, the other eye glassy and lifeless. Bite marks run down its ribbon-like length, chunks missing where something huge took several bites. Yet here it is, still upright, still swaying gently with the current as if it were alive. This oarfish has been dead for weeks, but its body hasn't gotten the memo. Unlike normal fish that rot, bloat, and float belly up when they die, your kind is made mostly of gelatinous tissue that takes forever to decompose. With no swim bladder to fill with gas and make you float, you just keep going after death. This oarfish corpse is drifting through the deep like some kind of ocean ghost, its movements so lifelike that even predators sometimes don't realize they're attacking a floating buffet rather than a living creature. As you watch, a deep-sea shark approaches the body, taking another bite from its already mangled form. Great. As if being alive as an oarfish wasn't bad enough, even death doesn't give you a break. By your 5th year, you've reached your full adult size, over 30 feet of impractical sea ribbon. At this point, you've accepted your fate as a drifting, gelatinous question mark that even evolution seems confused by. If you thought finding food was hard, finding love is practically impossible. Dating in the deep sea is a nightmare when you're a creature that might see another of your kind once every few years, if you're lucky. There's no deep-sea dating app, no oarfish hangout spots, just endless darkness, and the crushing realization that you might drift your entire life without ever meeting a mate. On the extremely rare occasion when you do spot another adult oarfish, there's no romantic courtship, no getting-to-know-you phase. It's basically, oh, hey, you're also an oarfish? Great, let's make this quick before something eats us. No dinner and a movie, just a brief, awkward encounter where you release your eggs or sperm into the water, depending on which parts you've got. Out of the thousands of potential offspring you release, maybe a handful will survive to experience the same miserable existence you've been enjoying. After that brief encounter, you'll likely never see another oarfish again. Many of your kind never even get that much, spending their entire lives drifting solo through the abyss, their reproductive material eventually released into the empty water as they die, making them the literal definition of dying alone. After years of somehow surviving in the deep ocean, despite being nature's most impractical design, your luck finally runs out. A massive underwater storm pushes you far from your usual depth. The currents are too strong to fight, especially with that permanent kink in your middle, throwing off your already limited swimming abilities. You're carried upward, away from the crushing pressures your body's designed for. As you rise, that familiar pain returns, the barotrauma from your youth, but 100 times worse. Your organs start expanding, tissue tearing from the inside. Your massive eyes bulge even more, threatening to pop from their sockets. The pressure change is literally pulling you apart cell by cell. But, unlike your youth, there's no convenient current to push you back down to safety. By the time you reach waters shallow enough for sunlight to penetrate, you're barely alive. Your once silver skin is rupturing, internal organs failing as gases expand inside your body. The bright light burns eyes that have never seen anything brighter than bioluminescent creatures. The warm water feels like acid on your deep-sea adapted skin. The final insult comes as waves push your dying body toward shore. Your 30-foot ribbon with its telltale kink washes up on a beach. Humans gather round, pointing and taking pictures of your bizarre form. Sea serpent, some cry. Monster, say others. They poke at your gelatinous body with sticks, watching it fall apart at their touch. Most of you have probably heard that oarfish are called doomsday fish, and recently they've been appearing more often on ocean surfaces, causing people to panic that something terrible is about to happen. So let me explain. For centuries, Japanese fishermen have called oarfish Ryugu no Tsukai, the messenger from the sea god's palace. According to their folklore, when multiple oarfish appear at the surface, it means one thing: a major earthquake or tsunami is coming soon. Is there any truth to this? Well, some scientists think there might be. Oarfish normally stay in the deep ocean, but they might detect subtle changes in pressure or underwater currents from tectonic activity before humans can. These changes could disorient or injure deep-sea creatures, pushing them upward into waters they'd normally avoid. But before you go full conspiracy theorist, correlation doesn't equal causation. Many oarfish wash up with no disaster following, and plenty of earthquakes happen without oarfish warnings. What's actually happening is probably less supernatural and more sad. When these deep-sea creatures end up in shallow waters, they're already dying. Their bodies simply aren't built for the lower pressure and warmer temperature near the surface. So, while humans are busy taking photos and spinning doomsday theories about beached oarfish, the real tragedy is much simpler. They're just deep-sea creatures that got lost, pushed out of their homes, and ended up somewhere they were never meant to be. All while looking weird enough to fuel human nightmares for generations. You're floating inside your mom's belly, already nearly 3 feet long with the most ridiculous facial feature evolution could dream up: a saw for a nose. Which raises the obvious question, how exactly are you supposed to exit your mother without slashing her inside? This seems like a critical design flaw. Did evolution just not think this through? Is your mom going to survive this? Something's gotta give here, and you're really hoping it's not your mother's internal organs. Well, nature has an answer, and it's surprisingly elegant for something that's otherwise seems like a biological mishap. Each of your saw's teeth is covered in a protective sheath, essentially a soft, flexible casing that transforms your built-in weapon into something closer to a rubber spatula. Birth happens quickly, and you're unceremoniously deposited in a shallow, murky ocean. Your mother, apparently not interested in seeing how this biological experiment turns out, immediately swims away. No goodbye, just another day in the wonderful world of fish parenting. As you lie there, slightly stunned by your sudden existence, you give your body a good shake, trying to get oriented into this new world. That's when those protective sheaths start falling off your teeth, one by one. The water around you fills with tiny translucent covers as your weapon is revealed. Congratulations, you're now a 3-foot baby with fully operational weapon that you have absolutely no idea how to use. The water above you darkens suddenly. A massive shadow passes overhead. A bull shark cruising by, at least 5 times your size. Your heart races, but it doesn't seem to notice you against the murky bottom. Still, every instinct tells you to flee. You dart forward, eyes fixed behind you on the threat, not looking where you're going. Thwack! Your saw slams straight into a rock. The impact sends vibrations through your entire body, rattling your tiny brain. It's like hitting your funny bone, except the funny bone is 3 feet long and covered in teeth. As you shake off the dizziness, you realize something important. This bizarre appendage isn't just for show, and you'd better figure out how to use it before you give yourself a concussion. Now that the danger is past, you pull out your survival checklist. You decide to focus on 2 urgent ones right away. Figuring out what the heck this face saw is actually supposed to do, since right now it's more liability than asset, and finding something to eat before your stomach implodes. You tie a bandana around your forehead and prepare for mission Don't Die on Day 1. As you drift over the sandy bottom, your saw hovers close to the seafloor. Suddenly, you feel a strange tingling sensation through it, like a sixth sense activating. There's something alive under the sand. Not something you can see, but something your saw is detecting? You're picking up the faintest electrical signals from a creature's beating heart and moving muscles through specialized sensors in your saw. Purely on instinct, you give your head a sideways flick. The saw slices through the sand, and a small fish shoots out in panic. Another swing, more controlled this time, and you've stunned it. As you gulp down your first meal, you mentally check off task 1 on your list. So that's what this thing is for. It's not just a weapon, it's a built-in metal detector for finding hidden prey. With your stomach no longer staging a revolt, you check off the second task too. 2 down, but there's still the matter of making it through your first night without becoming someone else's dinner. The sun begins to set, casting long shadows through the murky water. You spot a group of other juvenile sawfish heading in a particular direction. Safety in numbers seems like a smart move, so you try to follow them, but they're faster and soon disappear from view. Still, they must have been going somewhere safe, right? You continue in the same direction, determined to find shelter. What you don't realize is that you're swimming toward increasingly shallow water, approaching the shore of a small island. The fading light makes it hard to judge depth, but there's plenty of food here. Your saw detects worms and small crustaceans buried in the sand. You dig in, literally, using your saw to unearth a feast of wriggling treats. You're so focused on your meal that you don't notice the dark shadow forming above. When you finally look up, it's almost too late. A large seabird is diving straight toward you. The bird's beak misses you by inches, stabbing into the sand beside you with a force that would have skewered you like an appetizer. But it's not giving up. It takes to the air again, circling for another attack. You dart forward only to realize you're heading into even shallower water. Your back breaks the surface, making you even more visible from above. The bird dives again. You dodge left, another near miss. In a moment of desperation, you turn and dart toward deeper water, away from the shore. The bird follows, making one final dive. You feel the rush of air as its beak barely misses your tail. Then, blessed darkness envelops you as you plunge into the depths beyond the shallows. You rest finally in the deeper channel's reach, gills pumping rapidly as you try to process how close you came to becoming bird food. Lesson learned, shallow water at dusk is a death trap for baby sawfish. For the next few months, you stick to safer, deeper waters, developing a healthy respect for the dangers above and below. Your days fall into a simple pattern: hunt, eat, hide, repeat, and grow. Boy, do you grow. By the time you're 6 months old, you've doubled in size to about 3 feet long, roughly the height of an average human kid. You're still nowhere near full size, but at least you're no longer on every predator's easy snack list. Well, not every predator. There's just one problem with your growth spurt. Your saw is developing faster than your coordination. It now accounts for nearly 25% of your total length, making tight turns feel like you're driving a bus. You pull out your survival checklist, eyeing the next challenges. 2 predators are drawn on it. One's a stingray, the other looks like a small shark. You mentally circle the stingray first. Time to level up your hunting game beyond just snagging worms and tiny fish. You cruise along the sandy bottom, your electroreceptors tingling as they pick up faint signals. There, something flat and partially buried. A stingray. It's almost completely concealed beneath the sand, but to your specialized sensors, it might as well be flashing a neon sign. You approach cautiously, remembering that these creatures have their own defensive weapon, a venomous barb on their tail. The technique here needs to be different. You position yourself carefully above the hidden ray, then swing your saw in a controlled side-to-side motion, like nature's version of a metal detector. The ray senses danger too late. As it tries to dart away, you bring your saw down, pinning it to the seafloor. A few more precise slashes and the meal is yours. Not bad. You've graduated from snacks to proper meals. You check off the stingray from your list. Progress. Next target, the small reef shark. This is going to be considerably more challenging. They're faster, more alert, and definitely not half buried in sand. You're going to need strategy, not just brute force. After a few days of searching, you spot your target, a small reef shark about your size, hunting in the same area. You won't be eating this one whole, but you need to practice handling larger, more dangerous prey. You stalk it carefully, staying low against the seafloor where your mottled coloration helps you blend in. The shark is focused on a school of fish, giving you the opportunity to approach from below. Just as you're about to strike, a massive shadow blots out the light from above. You freeze, instinctively pressing yourself against the sand. The reef shark runs away, apparently sensing the same danger. It's a bull shark. He has definitely noticed you. You abandon your hunting practice, darting for the nearest cover, a dense patch of seagrass. The bull shark follows, surprisingly agile for his size. Your saw catches in the grass, slowing you down just enough for him to close the distance. His jaws open, revealing rows of serrated teeth. At the last possible second, you twist your body and swing your saw upward. Your sharp teeth of the saw rake across his gills, drawing blood. He recoils, clearly not expecting such effective defense from what he thought would be an easy meal. You don't wait to see if he'll try again, shooting through the seagrass toward the shallow waters where his bulky frame will be at a disadvantage. The bull shark follows to the edge of the shallows, but stops where the water becomes too thin for his comfort. He circles, waiting, but eventually swims off when it becomes clear you're not coming back out. You've survived round 2 with your nemesis, and even drawn first blood. Not bad. Once the adrenaline subsides, you pull out your checklist again. The shark hunt didn't go exactly as planned, but you'll count it as a lesson learned. You check it off anyway. A few years pass as you master the art of sawfish survival. One ordinary morning, while cruising through your usual territory, something changes. A distinctive scent in the water catches your attention. Not food, not danger, but something enticing. The chemical signals hitting your sensory organs are unmistakable. Pheromones from a female sawfish in her reproductive prime. It's like someone just wafted a freshly baked pie under your nose, if your nose was actually a 3-foot serrated hunting tool. Nature's calling, and you're definitely picking up. You follow the scent trail like a bloodhound with GPS, zigzagging through the water until you spot her. Another sawfish, slightly larger than you, with a particularly impressive saw. She notices you too and doesn't immediately flee or attack, which, in the underwater world, counts as enthusiastic consent. The mating dance that follows is, well, let's just say that when two creatures with giant serrated weapons for faces try to get romantic, it's a delicate operation. Imagine trying to kiss someone while both of you are holding chainsaws. There's a lot of careful maneuvering involved. After successfully navigating the logistical challenges of sawfish reproduction, I will tactically leave to your imagination. If you're interested, check out the OnlyFins in the description below. Just kidding, but subscribing is totally free. You both simply part ways. Just two passing sawfish who briefly made an evolutionary contribution and now have places to be. Life goes on for another decade, but you've grown into an impressive specimen. At 16 feet long, with a saw that makes up nearly a quarter of your length, you're now one of the ocean's most distinctive predators. You're drifting lazily with the current one morning when a small stingray passes just overhead. You're not particularly hungry, but there's nothing like a little hunt to break up the monotony of the day. You begin following it, accelerating upward with powerful strokes of your tail. The ray senses danger and darts forward, leading you on a spirited chase. So focused are you on your prey that you don't notice the strange patterns of shadows above until it's too late. Suddenly, both you and the stingray hit something invisible but unyielding. You twist and turn, trying to break free, but the more you struggle, the more entangled you become. It's a fishing net, something your instincts never prepared you for. Panic sets in as you feel the net tightening, being pulled upward toward the surface. The stingray is trapped beside you, equally helpless. The water around you grows brighter as you're lifted toward the surface, and for the first time in your life, you break through into open air. The sensation is disorienting. Gravity pulling at your massive body, your gills gasping uselessly. You're dropped onto a hard, flat surface surrounded by strange bipedal creatures making loud noises. Humans. You've heard rumors about these predators from other fish, but you never thought you'd encounter them firsthand. As they approach to extract you from the net, survival instinct takes over. You thrash wildly, swinging your saw in desperate arcs. The humans jump back, shouting. One particularly brave, or foolish one, grabs your saw with his gloved hands. You feel a sharp twist, then a sickening crack. You're trapped in darkness. Something sharp pokes your side. Your brother's teeth, already fully grown and ready to kill. You can't move, you can't escape, and the worst part, your own mother's body is your prison. Welcome to life as a hypodust shark, where your first breath might be your last. You are squeezed tight against 5 other baby sharks inside your mother's body. Each of you is already 6 inches long with razor-sharp teeth. Your brother next to you keeps bumping into you, testing if you're weak enough to eat. The water around you is getting tighter. Pressure builds. Your mother's muscles contract like a giant fist squeezing you toward the exit. But here's the terrifying part. Only half of you will make it out alive. Your biggest sister suddenly lunges at the smallest brother. Crunch! His screams echo inside your mother's body as she tears him apart. Blood fills the water around you. You watch in horror as she devours him piece by piece, growing stronger while you grow weaker from fear. Another contraction. You're pushed closer to the opening. Your remaining siblings eye each other desperately. Who's next? Who's weakest? You curl your tiny fins around yourself, trying to look bigger, stronger, more dangerous. Whoosh! Suddenly you're blasted out into the open ocean. The water is ice cold and filled with shadows. You spin around, gasping, looking for your mother, but she's already swimming away without even looking back. No protection, no guidance, just you, alone, in the most dangerous ocean in Earth's history. 3 of your siblings made it out alive. The other 2 are still digesting in your sister's stomach. Everything is trying to kill you. Then you see it. 2 glowing eyes in the darkness below, watching you like twin moons of death. They don't blink, they don't move, they just stare. The creature attached to those eyes is completely hidden in the shadows, but you can sense its massive size. It's been there the whole time, studying you, deciding if you're worth the effort to kill. Your mouth falls open in terror, and that's when you discover something incredible about yourself. Two completely different sets of teeth line your jaws. Razor-sharp daggers in front, bone-crushing molars in back. You have no idea what they're for, but right now they feel like your only hope. The eyes begin to rise from the depths. Whatever's down there is coming up to investigate you more closely. Panic floods your system as you realize you have two choices: hide like prey, or act like the predator you were born to be. A small fish darts past you, fleeing from the approaching nightmare below. Your stomach screams with hunger. You haven't eaten since, well, ever. But more importantly, you need to send a message to those watching eyes. I'm not helpless. You lunge at the fish, but terror makes you clumsy. You miss completely, spinning through the water like a broken toy. The glowing eyes seem to brighten with interest, or maybe amusement. You just made yourself look like easy prey. The fish circles back, probably thinking you're harmless. Big mistake. This time you force yourself to be calm, patient. You wait until it's close enough to smell, then strike with surgical precision. Snap, your dagger teeth punch through its scales like needles through silk. Crunch! Your crusher teeth pulverize its spine in one devastating bite. Blood explodes into the water around you, and suddenly everything changes. The taste of blood fills your mouth, and suddenly you understand. You're not just a survivor, you're a killer. 3 weeks in, time passed by miserably, but you've figured out you're basically a swimming Swiss Army knife. You spot a crab scuttling along the bottom. Perfect target. You dive down, but this time you're smarter. You wait. You watch. You learn its pattern. Strike. Your sharp teeth punch through its shell like it's made of paper. Your flat teeth crush the meat inside. The crab tries to fight back with its claws, but you twist your whole body, ripping off chunks of flesh. It's brutal, it's efficient, it's survival. But then you see something that makes your blood freeze. Another baby hibiscus, just like you, swimming straight toward your hunting ground. For a moment, the cannibalistic instincts kick in. You could attack, you could eat him. That's when you both spot the real threat, a marine reptile the size of a school bus, heading straight for both of you. Its neck is longer than your entire body, lined with teeth that could swallow you whole. Suddenly, eating your cousin doesn't seem so important. You both dart in the same direction, your dorsal spines scraping against each other as you squeeze through a gap in the rocks. The massive predator crashes into the stone behind you, its frustrated roars shaking the entire reef. You and your cousin look at each other. Enemy or ally? In this ocean, the answer changes every second. As you kept fighting with your cousins and the other dangers of the ocean, 2 years have passed. Your body is transformed into something magnificent and terrifying. You're now 4 feet of pure muscle and weaponry. Your dorsal spines have grown tall and sharp like medieval lances, casting intimidating shadows as you glide through the water. The head horns that were once tiny bumps now jut forward like a bull's, ready to ram and gore. Your dual-toothed system has become a precision-killing machine. Dagger teeth gleaming like polished blades, crusher teeth built like stone hammers. Every scar on your hide tells a story of survival. Your movements are no longer the clumsy thrashing of a baby. You cut through water like a living torpedo, silent and deadly. That's when you encounter the ruler of these waters, a massive leadsichthys, a bony fish the size of a blue whale. This giant filter feeder has claimed the richest feeding grounds as its own, and it doesn't appreciate competitors. The leadsichthys spots you hunting in its territory and charges. Its mouth opens wide enough to swallow a car, creating a suction that pulls you towards certain death. But you're not the helpless baby you used to be. You dive under its massive belly and strike upward with your head horns. Thud. The impact sends shockwaves through both your bodies. The giant fish thrashes, trying to crush you with its weight, but you're too fast, too agile. You clamp your dagger teeth onto its fin and twist your entire body. Blood clouds the water as you tear away chunks of flesh. The leadsichthys screams, a sound like breaking thunder, and flees into deeper waters. Your territory is secure. You are no longer prey. 5 years old, and a female has noticed your victory. She's even larger than you, battle-scarred and dangerous. The mating dance begins, a careful choreography of violence and attraction. You circle each other warily, showing off your weapons while trying not to use them. Your dorsal spines brush against hers. Your head horns lock briefly in a test of strength. When you finally mate, it's a miracle neither of you ends up dead. But the encounter leaves you wounded, deep gashes along your side from her defensive strikes. You're bleeding, weakened, but victorious. Still injured from mating, you spot the opportunity of a lifetime. A massive school of belemnites, more than you've ever seen. Your wounded body screams for nutrition to heal. You dive into the feast, your dual teeth working like a machine. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Shell after shell disappears down your throat. But your injuries have affected your judgment. You can't tell when to stop. Your stomach stretches beyond its limits, packed with so many shells you can barely move. The very adaptability that made your species successful becomes your downfall. You literally can't stop eating. As you sink toward the ocean floor, paralyzed by your own gluttony, you realize the irony. You survived everything these prehistoric seas could throw at you, only to be killed by your greatest strength. The ocean claims another victim of its own success. Your body will become a fossil, telling future scientists the story of evolution's most successful failure, a shark that conquered everything except its own appetite.